0 viewers right now because we just
God, I
started.
love it. I love 0 viewers.
I know, right? Because you can make all these mistakes and no one's gonna catch them.
Yeah, but
Well,
here's the thing.
hello.
Oh shit, I got it.
Hello,
But
everybody, and
if we
welcome to
if
another Friday night. So we're gonna be telling ghost stories, and I think next week is still Halloween, right? We're still in October next week, next Friday. Yeah, I
absolutely.
think so. Yeah, so I have my co-host Christina, who always likes to be in black. She's the lady in black,
Lady in Black.
right?
I've
So
shown my face on here. We're trying to make me scared tonight. So like I'm just in the darkness right now so that people have a better chance at scaring me.
you literally are in the dark because I can see like what should we call that? When the movie's like dark and you see that little glare, I can
The
see that.
grainy.
Yeah, the grain.
Yeah.
Oh my god, a film student not knowing what it's called. It's a total disgrace.
Dude, is that what it's called? The grain? I mean,
I
because
don't know.
I just
we
made
just
that shit up.
we just call it badly lit.
Mm. Very badly lit. There's no fucking light.
There's no such
Void of
thing.
light.
It's dark. It's badly lit. There you go. Your screen is badly lit.
Yeah. Okay, this sounds like you're just trying to spin something that's negative and be positive.
Well,
There's no such thing
that's
as
true because in
darkness.
cinema everything is done with lighting.
And when lighting is not there, there's no light.
It's badly lit. See, I
It's
add
not
those
lit
lights
at
in the
all.
back just to add the depth of field. That's the only reason I add those lights in the back, just to add a little depth of field. But that little child in the back, that baby Jesus, is actually scaring me. I'm probably not gonna be able to sleep tonight.
Shut up, dude. Put it on the
I
screen
am
when you
afraid of
have it top.
dolls. Look
Why?
at that. It looks so creepy. Can you see it? It's
No, it doesn't. It's so cute. I want to like go cuddle it. It's baby
oh,
Jesus. It's the cute little baby Jesus in the manger. I don't like
baby
grown up
Jesus.
baby Jesus. I like baby Jesus in a manger, all looking all cute and stuff.
Yeah. So I think for my first story for tonight, I do want to talk about when my coworker. I had a coworker that passed away, and when did I think it happened on a weekend because I got the call. I believe it was on Sunday, and I wasn't gonna pick up the phone call because I'm like I'm not at work. But then I found it kind of strange, so I picked it up, and it was my boss. He's saying, our coworker passed away, and it kind of hit me hard for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a week. After a week, like the following weekend, that's when everything just digested, and I was like, it hit me hard. And my coworkers were in the office picking up some paperwork, and the door just like it closed by itself. And our office
Mm-hmm.
is on a basement, so there's no windows.
Mm-hmm.
So for a while, when I was going there, I kept on feeling a presence of somebody always looking at me, always looking at me. And I was just kind of standing there. I'm like, can I have my paranormal experience now? Can you like close the door on me, flicker the lights, have something go wrong? And I didn't get scared, but two of my coworkers did, and they refused to go to the office for like a month. They're like, Greg, can you go get our paperwork? It's like, fine.
Mm.
So I think that's like the closest thing I've been to a paranormal thing. I don't think I really had anything happen
Mm-hmm.
without trying to debunk it, because I had other things and I debunk it. I'm like, okay, that's it. Yeah, it was debunked. It's not paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know you had a story about how you almost got shot.
Yes. Is anybody even on the feed?
I don't know. It's just one person viewing. That's good enough.
That's good enough. Who's this one mysterious person? Make yourself known. Leave a comment.
Definitely leave a comment. Let me turn on my comment window.
Yeah, why is that off? Turn it on, Greg. Let people
Right?
talk. Let people like
Yeah. Or
throw
click the
back.
link and join us, and we will let you join the fun, the funsies. And tell us your story. I know this, like, I advertised it kind of like last minute. I'm such a last minute person.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's okay. It's okay, Greg. You are perfect in your own way.
Well, gee, that
Um,
makes me feel better.
I don't know. What?
That makes me feel better.
Good. Feel better. Mm. So are you saying you want me to tell you the story right now? Live? Live and on air?
Yeah.
Oh, but we're trying to scare people and I think it's funny.
Well, it's because it's not scary to you, but for some people it is.
No, I highly doubt anybody's going to find this scary because of how I'm going to tell the story. What makes the story scary is usually the music and the effects of the person telling the story. If the person telling the story is very detached and just kind of telling it as an event, it's not going to invoke fear in anybody. I'm almost going to guarantee that. Unless you can get some creepy music playing that I can like talk to.
And then we get censored because it's copyrighted.
Just make up your own stuff, Greg.
Do 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 do. Oh no, wait! I'm gonna get copyrighted because that's the Twilight Zone.
Oh my gosh. I don't think you can get copyrighted if you're sitting there humming something.
No, you can't because it's what's it called? The what's it called? What's the thing? It's called it comes from you. You
Comes
know,
from
and we're also
you.
not we're not commercializing this. It's not like we're making money out of it.
No,
I think
let's
if you make money, if you make profit out of somebody else's work, that's where it becomes tricky.
mm, got it.
So, no, you were telling me that you were with your friend Greg,
Okay,
and
so
you
he
felt the
lives in
presence.
right, so he lives in a part of Texas. So there's a lot of spiritual activity in a lot of these lands here in Texas. Like, if you go back just even a couple hundred years, I mean, there was a lot of like, you'll find like arrowheads, you'll find like stories about like Indian raids. It was like this place it was not peaceful, it was like there was a lot of like fighting. So when you have that kind of stuff going on in the land, it's like it really creates, energies that linger per se. And every night when he would go out walking, he would see orbs. He would get pretty terrified. Well, one night, like we had moved my horses over to his place and he had parked his trailer in one of the most active places on his ranch. And I was just going to spend the night because, I helped to move the horses. And by the time we got everything unloaded, it was pretty late. And Greg was like walking around outside of his trailer and all of a sudden he saw the doors to the barn move and he's like, "Oh my God, Christina, something's over there." And I'm like, I was literally laughing because that's just how I am. I just laugh. So, as I was like, "Okay, Greg, you stay here and I'll check it out." Here I am, the girl. Shouldn't be the dude that goes in and makes sure stuff is clear. Anyway, so I went in and I I went into the barn and I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna just like jump. I'm gonna pounce on him because I'm gonna like, you kind of it's at night, you can step into the barn, it's like you step into darkness." So I stepped into the dark and then all of a sudden I like come jolting out of the dark and I'm like, "Ah!" And he had his hand on a 9mm and he was just like, "Holy fuck, Christine." And I had this rush of energy go through me because he had a loaded 9mm that he like was like so happy he did not have his finger on the trigger because he would have shot me through my gut.
I would have been terrified.
Yeah, no. So I just started laughing and then I'm like, oh, whatever. I'm tired. I'm gonna go to bed. Well, I went up to my trailer and he wasn't kidding. This place was really active. Like I could feel the energies going through the trailer. But remember I told you I used to be able to tell you like, oh my God, this is dark, or this is light. You know, I used to be able to feel that, but now I just literally feel it as energy, and like stuff was like shooting through the trailer. I could feel it going through, passing through my body and out the other side. And I was just like, oh, fucking stop. Leave me alone. I want to go to sleep. And immediately after I like got angry at it, it all stopped. And like, it was complete peace after that. And
I still get scared.
No,
I still get scared. But you know, one time, I think I told this story before, but we were in Mexico and Arthur was in a different bed and I was in the bed in the middle. My mom was in the bed by the window. And I turned around and I'm facing the window. I'm looking at my mom. And right behind me, I totally felt like somebody sat in the bed and it like, I moved back. And I'm like, and I was telling Arthur, what do you want? Are you okay? Do you want me to walk you to the bathroom? Because we have to cross a patio to go to the bathroom. And I was like, it's not dark. The moon is out, so there's some light. And then he's like, what are you talking about? And then I turn around and he's like, just like, I can see his eyes. They're like shining and they're looking at me, but he's on his bed and I'm in my bed. I was like, oh, something's sitting here in my bed. And I like froze in fear and I fell asleep. Like I froze in fear and I just like passed out. I was that scared that I passed out. I'm like, I slept good last night. If it was a demon, oh well. If I'm possessed, well, I'm gonna be vomiting pea soup. Watch my head spin around.
You know, a crucifix. You'd have to put it, because didn't she put the crucifix up her? You know what? So I guess you'd have to like turn.
Yeah, Linda Blair. It's so funny. I was reading up on it, and she had no idea what she was doing. She was just stabbing herself. You know, it's like that's really what innocence is all about. You know.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. Why are you stabbing that box? I don't know. That's not what the director said to do. No, but it was terrifying because our whole vacation revolved around the spirits that were there. Another night he heard somebody going through our luggage, and he sat down and there was absolutely no one in that room. He looked to the side. I was sleeping in my bed, and like he sat down and my mom was sleeping in her bed, and you know, because we were all sharing this giant room because we're on vacation. And he's like, I swear I heard something there, and they were going, and I heard the luggages unzip, and they were going through them inside. And he went through his stuff. He thought, you know, maybe there's rats here, and you know they're chewing on my stuff. And there was no holes, there was no sign of entry whatsoever. So he's like, I really don't want to stay here anymore. I was like, well, this town is about 500 years old, so most likely wherever you stay, there's going to be some kind of activity.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
You can't really hide from it. There's been murders. There's been all sorts of things in these towns that no matter where you stay, there's going to be some kind of activity.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And another time I went to my cousin's house and I'm walking in there and I said, there's something coming from the corral or the backyard. We just call it corral. It's like, there's something coming from the backyard. He's like, yeah, we see a man. There's always a man standing in some area at the back there at nights. And there's a story that the previous owners of this land supposedly buried treasure there. And there's a person that was going to supposedly steal it. And they ended up killing that person. So that person, as punishment, is kind of just stands there guarding the treasure. So I'm like drawn to this energy. I'm like, I'm really scared, but I can feel the presence of a man back there, and he just walks back and forth the backyard, and it's a huge backyard. And I'm standing there, and I can feel the energy that goes from one side to the other, just like the wind. But it doesn't.
Yeah.
It just goes from one side to the other, and I was like, "Hello," and then it just stopped, and I can feel it. It's just staring at me. I'm like, I'm scared, and I'm frozen, and I can't even move. Because you know what? Sometimes that fear that paralyzes you. I'm just paralyzed, and I was like, "Hi." And then it just started moving again. I was like, and it was moving towards me. So I'm like, no, I'm just gonna leave. The thing is, yeah, but the thing where they had the sink where they put the dirty dishes was next to the door that goes to the corral, and I was gonna wash my hands, and I'm like, put my hands in the water, just like, and I just ran back out, and my cousin was like, "Did you feel it?" I was like, "Yeah, I felt it. I don't want to sleep here." So when we stayed that night, I'm like, I'm taking the room right by the front door, as far as I can from this place, because I was scared.
Wow.
I still get scared, so I probably need a Christina to come with me.
Yeah, you do need me to come with you. And I'll be like, chill the fuck out, Greg. You'll be like, I feel it. I'll be like, I feel it too, but shut up.
You'll probably be like, well, let's go ask him where the treasure is.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you can ask him.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, see? And then we can have our full trip paid for.
Our ayahuasca trip.
We could be like fucking gangsters with it too. You could be like El Chapo. Like you could like then I could be your like pretend girlfriend, but not really. Like we'll just make a scene.
I'll be like, she's the love of my life. No, we're madly in love.
We're madly in love. And people will be like, wait a minute, what?
I was like, and she's a natural blonde. She doesn't dye her hair.
My hair's like a stand. It's like not even blonde though.
You're still gonna be called the güera.
La güera. That's what Maricela's family always used to call me, the white girl.
Yeah. Well, if you're part of the Latino community, be for sure that you're gonna have a nickname.
Oh, I had a nickname. They saw me as part of the family. I could just go over whenever I wanted. They'd like, let's eat some tacos, and I'm like, God, yeah, I love it over here. I always want to make tacos.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you get a nickname, basically you're part of the family, and be for sure you're gonna be fat by the end of the year.
Dude, I gained so much weight. I'm not even kidding you. My ex-boyfriend came back from Iraq and was like, you gained like 30 pounds. You were like, you're so fat now. And I'm like, I know. Oh, God. Maybe I need to just stay away. We can just be virtual family.
Right. Well, we are spirit family. I like calling it
We
that.
absolutely
Soul family.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
Yeah. I think, I don't know, somebody would send me a private message that I was planning to do a paranormal investigation in one of the older cemeteries here in Half Moon Bay, the south of town. Yeah. Have you seen it? You know where it is? There's like a labyrinth in there.
That was one. That's the one by when you go back up on, what is that? The one road to go to the old whorehouse. Elkie's Ranch and all that. It's back on that road. Oh, why can't I hear you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me now?
Okay, what happened to you?
What happened is that I burped and I muted myself. No. So somebody sent me a private message saying like, "Oh, I can feel all this energy. It's horrible. They're gonna get you. They're gonna follow you home. You're gonna be possessed." I'm like, I don't know if you realize that I was already in there doing a video. You know, but it's a natural burial. So what does that mean? Does that mean they don't use a casket and they just put you into the dirt?
I don't know. I'm sure they would still put you in like a box back then. They didn't have like such fancy caskets, but like if you think back to the Old West, they would still put you in a box.
I'm thinking of doing like if I go there, I do want to do it like an introduction to it and talk a little bit about it and what does it
Hmm.
mean when they say a natural burial ground.
Yeah.
Because that's what I keep thinking. They'll just toss you in there, butt naked.
I wonder if there's gatekeepers there. Did you feel a gatekeeper there?
I feel welcome. I can tell you that.
Okay,
I
right.
didn't. I didn't feel like they were shushing me away or anything like that. Because the other one, I go to the Our Lady of Pillar, the Catholic
Yeah.
cemetery, the one I always
Yeah.
walk by. I did
Yeah.
ask, hey, can I film you guys? And would any of you be interested in showing your face? And I did upload a video where there's a spirit in red. And I have always identified this lady. I call her the lady in red. And I keep running
Ooh.
into her for maybe about a month. And I
Mm-hmm.
asked her, and I asked my friend too, that guy that kept on saluting me. I said, would you be interested in being in the video if I record something? He didn't
Yeah.
say anything, but he didn't say no either.
Huh.
But the lady, you can see her flash right in front of me, and she says, yes. I was like, was that you that walked across my screen? And she's like, yes. So hopefully I'll show that next time. I'll get the video out and I'll play it here. So you guys can see it, and I'll probably amplify the sound where she says yes. And the third time I went there, paranormal investigating, this was done with the Spirit Network. So this is a Facebook webpage where they host all these shows that have to do with the paranormal, tarot readings, mediums, ghost stories, and all that stuff. I should be in there. Anyways, I was with them, and the woman that was with us, we both looked at each other and we're like, the spirits don't like the guy we're with. They just keep nodding their
Oh.
head like they don't want him here. And when they
Hmm.
turn on the spirit box, you know how it makes that sound and then you hear words? It kept on saying, get
Yeah.
out, get out. Within all the
Nice.
chattering noise, like you can pick up the word that kept saying, get out, get out. And we asked, us? And then it said, no. And then we're like, you don't like him, huh? It's like, get out, get out, get out. I was like, oh, they don't like you here.
Yeah, but I wonder why this particular person that they're like turned off by. I wonder what it is about an individual that would make spirits tell them to leave. You know what I mean?
I think with this case was because he does like to, um, is taunting the right word? Like he kind
Mm.
of he tries to intimidate them, or kind of like, you know, if you're here, come at me, sort of type of personality.
Makes sense.
You know, kind of not not intimidating. Oh, what's that word I'm looking for?
And a big ego.
Yeah, I guess we can say that. But he was just like constantly like challenging the spirits to come forth, and you know, she's a pretty talented medium. She's one of those that doesn't trust herself, like you. You can feel the spirits, but you're like, nah, I don't think they talk to me, but I'm sure they do. It all comes down to learning their language. And
Yeah.
I'm like, what are they telling you? And she's like, they don't like him. They want us to participate, but they just don't like him. I was like, you know what? That's exactly what I'm feeling. And I said, there's a woman standing over there with her white dress, and she can finish the description. What I was saying, and this is all online, right? This is all online, so if you look for it, you can find it.
Yeah.
And I was the cameraman, so you don't see my face. But she finished the description, and when we got there, I was like, the woman said that she is going to sing. So as the spirit box is going, like a little phrase from a song started to play. I was like, see, she said it,
Oh.
and she did it. So that's kind of showing evidence that there is spirit activity here.
Yeah,
But
for
they
sure.
but at the same time, they're saying the evidence also tells us that it's evidential that they don't want him there.
Right. Right.
And then there was another spirit. I said, hey, there's another spirit here, and they're saying that you had a bad experience at a house, and they keep showing me the Costco in Redwood City. I was like, why the Costco? I don't know. But the Costco was to actually pinpoint the location, which it's an abandoned house in Redwood City. They actually got to investigate.
Right.
And they're like, oh, we definitely have to bring you to that house. We're going to do another investigation there. The spirits there are very strong. And all of a sudden, I just heard a spirit, you don't go there. It told me not to go there. And I told him, you went to this house, the Costco. It's like, but it probably means Redwood City. And they followed you home and you became very ill for about 2 weeks. And he said that he got like the flu, like a really, really bad flu, that he had to stay in bed. So he was in bed for about 2 weeks. It was like the spirit that's here, it's familiar with this story for some reason, but they're saying that you did not get sick because you caught the flu. You got sick because the spirit followed you home and it weakened your immune system. And that's a sign when your immune system is weakening, you start getting the flu-like symptoms and all that stuff. But he became sick for 2 weeks because whatever that was there followed him home. And it followed the other woman that was with us. It followed her home too, but it was only there for about 2 days. And then she just felt that spirit leave. They're like, you have nothing to do with it. This guy provoked us. There we go. Spirit provocation. And that's why they were saying, we don't like the provocation thing.
Got it.
That's what they don't like. And that's why sometimes when I go there, I ask permission, can I record here? And if you don't want to, just don't let your energy come into the frame of the video. Just leave and let me do my job, and let those who want to be in the video be part of the video.
Right.
And they usually listen.
Right. Do you ever you pay the gatekeeper, leave gifts for the gatekeeper?
You're supposed to, like when you go to the cemeteries to do work, or when you talk to the spirits, somebody told me you should leave like pennies or nickels at the gates, at the entrance.
Yeah, I was told candy works too.
I should do that next time. I always have candy, so I don't know if it's going to make it, but I will try.
Yeah, like it's like little chocolates, or yeah, I was told those are really good.
You know, another thing about working with spirits, it's a good idea to drink lots and lots of water. Because as they're draining your energy, you start feeling dehydrated.
Interesting.
I don't know. Well, you've probably never been to a spiritualist church, but most of the mediums, for some reason, I was like, why are they always drinking water? They're always drinking water. They're like doing their reading, they're talking to the spirits, and they constantly drink water and water. And I went to one of the mediums. I say, why are you always drinking water? I noticed that all the mediums, when they're working, they're constantly drinking water. Like, it's because you start feeling dehydrated because they're draining your energy. I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Interesting.
So when I went to Arthur Finley, I always had my water bottle with me.
Nice.
Which is somewhere we have to go.
Okay, we're going to go there.
Yeah, get ready to go to the UK. If anybody wants to join us, let's plan it. We'll take one big old trip and we'll just meet at the London airport.
Okay, but it's just me and you on the Costa Rica one. Nobody else is invited to that one.
Oh, no. Nobody else.
Nobody else. Sorry, guys.
Probably my tail might follow.
Who might follow? Who?
My tail.
Your tail?
I shouldn't be calling him that.
Who's your tail?
I will tell you later.
Okay.
I am terrible. Yeah.
Terrible, Greg.
So just remember, we only have 2 viewers today because they were probably not expecting me to come on live. Because last time I ghosted everybody last week for my birthday.
What?
It was my birthday. Well, it was my birthday and I wasn't even home. I was like, I'm just going to ghost everybody. And then on Saturday, I was like, I'll go live. And then I was doing my homework. I got so into it. I'm like, I have to watch a movie. So I got really into it and I totally forgot. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to go live at midnight. So
Ooh.
I might actually go live tomorrow.
What about the people in the chat? Do they have any good stories? Can they call in? Let's
Well, they can call in. The link is there. There's only 2 people, so
Oh, why do they not want to call in? Come on,
I
people
don't
watching.
know.
Have they commented or talked at
But
all?
it's also like last minute because last week there was like 15 people on and off. And I saw the
Huh.
algorithm and it was like very interactive. So,
Ooh.
but I've been so constant and then suddenly I just like disappeared from the face of the earth for a day,
Yeah.
you know? So, yeah. What is,
What?
I
Hmm?
can't really ask you what's your most scariest experience, but I will ask you what's your most active experience with spirits.
What's the most active?
Mm hmm.
Um, I think it was with that house in Texas when Allie was my roommate, but I told that story last time. Where it was like shaking the bed and I could feel something sitting on the end of the bed and it was like gushes of wind would come in. Actually, no, you know what? There was a period when need I say more, the cult.
Where
Where
I'm thinking like
I felt
after November, I want to tell different stories, but I want that one so bad. I want to hear it more. But yeah, go for it.
what the cult story?
Yeah.
Are you talking about the spirit side of it, or what do you mean? What you want to hear the story?
Like I want to interview you on it, but not right now. I'm just throwing it out there because I'm like, I get excited every time you mention it. I don't know why.
The cult. Don don don. Okay. But so I really think that the some of the people that we were involved with or that I was involved with were like they really knew how to manipulate things and send energy and put fear, like such fear that it would like cripple you. You know how you were talking about how you would feel fear and it would paralyze you.
Hmm.
This is the kind of fear that would just like it would just like leave you just like paralyzed and like panicking. And I think because I felt so much of that for such a long period of time, like my body doesn't even allow it to feel that. It's just like, oh my God. Okay. But anyway, so there was one night I remember because it was like, I mean, it was always like, oh my God, there's people after us. And it's like the fucking stories that were always being said would always have you on this, like, this fear. Well,
Paranoia.
yeah, but here's the thing is that I remember one night when all this was happening and all this was like going down, I just remembered like being like, okay, I gotta try to go to bed. And I went to sleep and all of a sudden I was like shaken awake at 3:33 in the morning. And I woke up to the back door of my house being wide open and like windows all open. It was like something had come to my house and opened. It's like, it was like that message of we have access to you, you know? And it was just like this feeling of like terror went through me because I'm like, well, how the fuck did my back door just, I'm out in the country. I was like, you know, I
The
was
middle of
like,
nowhere.
yeah, I was like petrified and I was having these dreams. I was having these dreams of men coming into my house and dragging me out of bed and these were dreams that were so fucking vivid. Like I would have to like pinch myself when I woke up like what the fuck, and like these men would like come and drag me out of bed and it would be like turn into this like full on bloodbath of like the battle of me and this like man trying to kill me, you know? But then I'd wake up and like shit like that would be done in my house and it was like, oh my God, like there's something after me. It made it so fucking terrifying. Like I've never been so scared in my life. But again, like and this is why I don't have fear anymore is because it was like what the fuck I was believing and the psychological warfare that was going on in my head is like, okay, there's shit out there that can do this. But yeah, so I don't know. It just there was just I don't know. I don't have fear anymore, I
So
guess.
basically, you
Because
just became immune to fear.
pretty much, because
Share the
imagine,
wealth.
yeah, pretty well, imagine yourself being in a constant state of fear for 2 years straight.
Mm-mm.
Constant fear. Like it didn't go away. Like it was like, I mean, God, I thought I was gonna burn in hell for eating pork. Like I still don't eat pork, don't get me wrong, but like I was afraid to go to
Bacon.
I was afraid to, yeah, like I was afraid that if I went to a restaurant and somebody like happened to touch a piece of pork and then prepare my food, that my food would be defiled and then my body would be like, that's the extent of what I was like, oh my God, I can't trust any food. I can't eat any food. Like all food is tainted. Like it was just it was extreme on so many levels.
That's actually kind
So
of scary. I think for me, see, like psychological films scare me more than the actual scary movies. Like when I
yeah.
watch, I wrote I had to write like a 5 page, 10 page paper on Black Swan, and I had to give
Ooh.
it her diagnosis and everything. It was for a psychology class, and I ended up writing like a 20 page paper.
Oh wow.
And to break it down, I watched it like maybe like 5 or 6 times, but then it was
Yeah.
getting to me to the point. I mean, it's still like it's been watched by clinicians. It's so well written that
Yeah.
it does portray someone who has schizophrenia, disorganized schizophrenia.
Yeah.
And when you watch this, it actually makes you scared because it's like, if I get to a point where I can't tell the difference between reality and my mind, that's a lot
Yeah.
scarier than, running into a haunted house. Is like, at least I know that's a ghost that's out to get me and I can run that off. But
Yeah.
something that's so psychological like Black Swan, it's like you can't run away from everything.
No, no, you can't. And it's like it, like when I tell you I sat in my room with the blanket over my head, rocking and crying, that's not an exaggeration at all. Like full on panic attacks of like freaking out.
Yeah, and to me, when I think about that paper that I wrote, it sometimes scares me because I at work we actually did have someone like that had schizophrenia, and she was very aware of it to the point that she was just going like, "We can't let Greggy know. Be quiet. We can't let him know." And I would be like, "Are you okay? I'm like 22 years old, so I'm freaking out. There's someone in
Right.
the back seat talking to someone that is not sitting there."
Right.
And one time she comes in and she's crying. I was like, "What's wrong?" She's like, "I can't tell you. It's a woman issue." I was like,
Ah,
"Okay, okay,
okay.
whatever." But then I asked my coworker. I said, like, she said she can't tell me it's a woman issue. I mean, I get the whole period thing. I get it. But she's like,
Yeah.
no, the voices in her head threatened her that if she did not pee on herself, that they were going to kill her and her family. So she stood in the middle of Walgreens and just urinated on herself
Oh wow.
because
That's
the
really
voices just told her. And she's sitting in the car and she got not my personal car, the company car. It's all wet with pee. And she's constantly telling these voices, "You need to be quiet. We can't let Greggy know." She called me Greggy. She's like, "Greggy can't know. He can't know. He can't know." And I'm like, driving here. We're in Half Moon Bay, so we're driving all the way into like right underneath the sign that said South San Francisco. That's like a 45-minute drive with all the
Oh
traffic
wow.
and everything.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, she's talking to these people that I don't see who they are. And we did. I mean, sadly, we did have to let her go, but that was my experience with someone who literally had schizophrenia, and they were so aware of it. But when I think about that, like there's nights where I go to bed and think about it. It's like, how can someone that does not exist threaten you and tell you you have to pee yourself in the middle of Walgreens?
Well, see, and my person wasn't in my head. This was a person that was real. So it's even more scarier when somebody else can come into your life and create a reality that then becomes so real that that has you petrified. Because the thing is she was aware of the voices in her head,
Yeah,
right? Like she was
yeah,
aware of that. Yeah. So she knew that this wasn't. an actual tangible person. See, this wasn't a tangible person that knew how to tap my energy so well that could access me and my deep secrets. And I just took that as, and this is why I got into the occult. This is why I got into tarot. This is why I started listening to this stuff, because I'm like, I know that I have this ability, but how the fuck? Because I'd always thought, as long as I'm praying, you know,
You'll be protected.
like I could sit there, exactly, and I would sit there and verbatim spit out, like, Psalm 91 about the protection, Psalm 23. I could verbatim say those, like I didn't even need to open the book. I had all of it memorized. And I thought, because I was able to fast and pray, like, nobody could fuck with my energy. Well, my spirit per se, because I wasn't using the terms of energy and all of that stuff back then. And for this person to just come in and just be able to expose my soul on a really deep level, I saw that Christianity had so many lies in it. So I was already kicked off my rocker on the fact that I'm like, there's lies in this. There's lies in this. And at the core of who I am, I've always wanted to be in the truth and fulfill whatever, the Creator has put me here to do, and I thought Christianity was it. But when I saw it was a lie, and here comes this guy that's telling me all these secrets about myself that nobody else could tap, because,
Yeah.
I've gone to psychics before and they could never fucking tap me. Like, they'd be like, can't read you. But this guy came in and it was like, let me expose you. And I'm like, how does he know this stuff?
Here's the funny thing too, because when I was growing up, I grew up Catholic, but because I had this odd belief about it, I later discovered it was a Gnostic belief that because we have that whole free will from God, we can still take somebody else's free will. And that kind of, for some reason, it just stood out to me. It was like, even though this person feels this, feels that, you can still take somebody else's free will.
Yeah.
Like, I think about that at work. It's like, I want to give them their freedom, but they're still under my responsibility. So I can only give them so much. So I'm still taking more than half their free will.
Right.
And even though I'm compared to my other coworkers, I give them as much freedom as I can and keep them safe. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm still taking their free will. This is the same concept that the church puts in you. Oh, God will save you and everything. But it's like, but God himself gave us that free will to do whatever we like. Otherwise, nobody will die or nobody can kill anybody.
Right.
So It's like, and this is very controversial for someone who's 8-9 years old. It's like, how come he was able to kill him if he was protected by God? How is that possible?
Right.
And I was like, it's the whole free will thing. And if somebody knows how to tap into your bodies, your etheric, your mind, your auras, we have several bodies around us. And some people can literally tap into your mental body and they can know what you're thinking.
No, I know. And see, that's when that came to me, I thought this person was like, an elite that was like blessed by the Creator himself, and I had to listen and follow him. Like, because again, Greg, I had gone to psychics. I had gone to people that, they could kind of say some things, but they couldn't ever get to the depth of who I am. Not like this guy did. And he was coming with the face of like, oh yeah, Christianity's a lie, but here's the truth. And you got to like really be strict. And then, Torah and all this shit. And it's just like, I believed him because he was exposing all the stuff that I saw as lies. And I'm like, wow.
See, and that's the thing, that how some these people are so sneaky. They will mix the lies with the truth. And that's where I feel that some people really do abuse their abilities. Supposedly we're given this to do good to other people, but people will use it to abuse. It's like, oh, I can feel this person's going through this, so I'll take advantage of them. And I'm like, I'm glad that in my beginning stages of this whole psychic world thing, I grew with some morals, because if I feel that someone's being taken advantage of, I was like, here, let me put in my 2 cents. Let me educate you how this, in my perspective, how this should be worked.
Right.
And I hate doing that because sometimes I don't want to put other people on the spotlight, but at the same time, it's like, I feel like I have a moral obligation to educate people,
Sure.
you know? And and sometimes it upsets me that, oh, Christina, your grandmother's dead and she says she's here and she says she loves you. Well, we're almost 40 years old. What are the chances that your grandma's dead? They're very high.
Right.
And she says she loves you. I was like, yeah, no, my grandma hated me. That's not right.
Yeah.
You know, they don't really know, but it's always that case. And that's one of the things that I noticed the difference between the American mediums versus the UK mediums. The Americans, when they do demonstrations, because they don't do any evidence when they do demos, they just, oh, your grandma's here. She says she loves you. She said you're doing great. There's some mediums that are trained, like in the UK, they will bring 2 or 3 pieces of evidence and then they'll deliver the message. And that's the style I like, because you're like, yes, my grandma carried her little electrical sewing machine, which is not very common.
Oh,
You know?
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
So
something like really
they give
odd.
something very specific detail, and they're like, okay, yeah, that definitely makes sense, and that does apply. Yeah, so they confirm the spirit that it's
Yeah,
actually
or
for
it's like
them.
your grandma made cookies, but she always put like ginger from a bottle. She didn't use the real ginger. She used it from a bottle, and she called it her secret recipe. And it's like, everybody thought it was real, but I knew it was a bottle. It's like our little secret sort of thing. Because that
Yeah, right.
also makes sense. That's also cliche. Grandmas at that age, from like the 70s and 60s back then, that was their thing to do. It was cooking.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
that is cliche, but then they brought up something because every time you showed up to her house, it was cookies. It was always cookies, but she put some secret ingredient that everybody thought it was something else, and you knew the secret. That's evidence. So to me, it's like, you kind of have to educate, because they will mix those things with what they want to doctrinate you with. And
Right.
I believe that that's what you went through. It's like, let me tap into your mental body and tell you, you know why you're married, you know why you have kids, and I know you have this, and I know you're going through this. It's like, oh my God, this psychic is so accurate. Once they reel you
Right.
in, it's like, now I'm going to give them what I really want from them.
Well, exactly. And see, that's what this person did, was like, you know, he tapped into, my marriage at the time, and was like, you feel like this and you feel like this, but like, I don't really remember what he said, but it was like very much like, you cry. It was so specific to that time, right? And he's like, yeah, the reason why you feel like this all the time is because you're actually technically not married, and you're sinning.
See, they use that to their advantages. And
And
they
I
also
was
have
like,
to know that marriage is not even biblical.
right, well,
There's stories on the Bible about marriage, but it's not like biblical, like you
like,
have to. It's not the law.
they just take him into the tent and screw him. I know, I get it, but no, like, he was telling me, like, I was sinning before, the Father, and it wasn't a true covenant marriage or whatever. And it was like, so I was like, holy shit, I'm gonna cause my husband at the time to go to hell. I'm gonna go to hell, and and everybody's just feeding us lies, and oh my God, we're all gonna die, and the world's gonna just implode because everybody's such horrible sinners. Like, oh my God. And so if somebody came along and told me, like, no, Christina, what the hell are you talking about? Here, let me show you the New Testament. I'd be like, no, fuck the New Testament. It's full of a bunch of lies. Go back to the Council of Nicaea. They're a bunch of fucking devils. And I would just like go off on stuff, And I'm like, if you look at the New Testament, it's been rewritten like 8,000 times, and the copies that used to go out all contradicted each other. So, like, don't tell me this bullshit to look at this fucking New Testament to justify why you're telling me I'm wrong. I'm going back to the original writings. Blah, blah, blah. Like, oh my God.
Here's an interesting story, because going back to the whole spirits and ghost things, it's like, I think I said the story before, and I'm going to say it again. So I was in Mexico, and there was this lady, and we call her La Brujita, the witch, the little witch, because we became friends. And she was trying like her best to like for me to give her a reading on her parents because her parents passed away and she's not been able to find anyone to deliver messages for her. And one day we're sitting there and I tell her, hey, your parents passed away and you've been wanting to communicate with them. She never
Yeah.
told me about that, but that kind of blew her away. And she
Right.
never mentioned to anybody that her parents passed away. That's something she will never talk. And she's like, I'm hoping to meet someone that can talk to them for me. And I was like, well, you as a witch, you're supposed to know how to do such things.
Right.
And that I'm like talking about to her. And then this lady comes in, she sits down. She's like, ma'am, I need to talk to you. And she looks at me. She's like, I'm sorry, young gentleman. I really need to talk to her. And she's like,
Yeah.
just let him sit here and listen. So I'm sitting there and I'm listening. And she's telling this woman, she's like, I received a gift of a Virgin Mary and I put it in my house. And after she received the gift, her daughter got into a severe car accident and she almost didn't make it to the university because she was supposed to go there to get the interview to be admitted to the school. And if she
Yeah.
didn't show up, she was going to lose her spot.
Right.
So somehow she made it. She went through with broken bones or whatever. And then she keeps saying, like, every night when I get home, there is white dust all over the floor. And I have to clean it every single night. So I'm listening to this story and I told this lady, go home and I'll be back here after lunch. Go home. If this statue is hollow inside, somebody insert a demon inside that thing to make sure you do not progress in life.
Right.
So she went home, and this is a time where she's never home because in Mexico, people have routines.
Right.
This is a time where she goes out to the mercado, to the market, to buy food, to prepare for lunch. So at that time, she's not there. So she does not see any of the activity that happens until she comes home to prepare lunch.
Yeah.
So she went on at an odd hour. She gets there and she sees a white thing just standing there. And then it just disappears as she opens the door. And there's that white dust all over the floor. And right at the end of lunch, she was already standing there next to this woman's post, you know, this stand. And they're just waiting for me to know, to give them my diagnostic on her, you know, misfortune. And I
Yeah.
said, look, I read a book on necromancy, and one of the things they say is to always put your spirits, give them a home, a residence. So what this person did is she grabbed a demon and made that statue a residence. And as Latinos that we are, as good, beautiful, wonderful Catholics that we are, destroying a statue, it's sacrilege. We don't do that. So that is the best way to get a demon into your house, by putting a statue that you consider sacred, because you will never destroy it because it's sacrilege.
Burn the shit out of that thing.
And I said, what you need to do is go to the market, find an exact replica, make sure even the misperfections are there, because this person is going to go back to your house to make sure that statue is still there so you can still have that misfortune. And I said, I have a bad feeling that death is near there too. And that's when she told me about her daughter's car accident and her husband, you know, his car tipped over and it was upside down and he almost died from it. And I said, you need to destroy that and just replace it with the other one so that she thinks you're going to still be cursed. And she's like, but I can't do it. It's a sacrilege. I was like, what's a sacrilege is putting a demon on something that we consider sacred. That's sacrilege.
Yeah.
You just need to get rid of it. That's my only advice. And the woman's like, you're not a practicing witch. How do you know this stuff? I was like, it's called literature.
Right.
I was like, it's called literature. I mean, I read a lot of the stuff. Just because I don't practice it does not mean I don't know it.
Right.
And I texted the lady because I came back, you know, to the U.S. and I texted the lady. I was like, what happened to that woman with the statue? She's like, she destroyed it. She replaced it. Her husband recovered. Her daughter is now going to school. There's no more white dust, no more apparitions, no more nothing. I was like, yeah, that's what happened. They were trying to curse her by using a demon instead of a statue. And
Mm.
I don't know, people just, I don't know why they hated her. It was like, I felt that there was some goodness in this woman. I was like, you have a nice pure heart, but I think you did something that this person does not approve of. Could be she probably believes that she was supposed to be marry the man you marry with. But at the end of the day, it was his
Mm.
decision too. He could
Yeah.
have just said no to you, and she probably believes that you bewitched him. I was like, I don't think you do that. I mean, if you're here consulting with us, I don't think you know how to bewitch someone. And if you did it, it must have been a natural beauty.
Mm.
So, yeah, it's, I don't know. I don't know why people will even do that.
It's just people wanting to have one up on another. I don't I don't I don't even like I don't even like there's times I've thought about those kinds of things. And every time I do, I immediately just go to, you know what? I don't know what to ground myself, but I'm going to ground myself on this. I'm going to do unto others as I'll have them do unto me. You know, like there has been only a few times I've matched people's energy if they've done something shitty to me that I've then gone and made them live the very thing that they made me live. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
when a woman had no problem sleeping with my man when we were together, I was fine with doing the same to her and I never felt regret because always have a very high standard of like, I'm not the woman that comes in and says, "Oh, he's having a hard time with his relationship. Look at me. I'm the better option." I've never I've never been her. I immediately will always encourage people to go and work it out. Maybe you can work it out. Maybe you can overcome this. I'm not going to sit here and wave myself as I'm the better option. I'm going to be respectful and respectful of the boundaries of the relationships here. That's just who I am. And I'm going to stick to that. And I know not everybody's like me, but if you want to fuck with me, then I'll make you feel the same thing. So that's where I stand on certain things. And I, again, when it comes to full on cursing and watching people's lives just be destroyed, no, I don't do that. But have I seen people's lives be destroyed and I've known they were going to be? Yes, absolutely. But I didn't do any kind of working or anything like that to watch them be destroyed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think about that sometimes about, it's like when would it be at like a good time to do something bad to someone? And I keep coming to the conclusion, it's like, not really. It's like they think they can do better, but at the end of the day, it's like they're gonna realize that's not the better choice,
Right.
and it might be too late when they realize that.
Yep.
So all I can do is just sit back, because they do say revenge is, it tastes better when it's served cold. But
Absolutely. And
after you
it's
get your
just a lot.
revenge, what's that after that?
Yeah, exactly. So I would rather not be out trying to destroy anybody. I don't want to destroy anybody. I truly am in a place of like, I will defend myself and protect my son and protect myself. But I will not actively go out there and try to start war or try to put a demon in something and watch somebody else's life, crumble. Like, I'm not going to do that.
You're not those kind of love and light.
No, no, I'm definitely not all love and light, for sure. I'm not, because again, I know I have a shadow side to me, and I'll be honest with you. If somebody fucks with me, like, there's something inside of me that is scary. Like,
I mean,
it's
if you think
scary.
about it, you can't tell the light if you don't have shadow.
Exactly.
And how do you know it's a shadow? Is because there is light.
Yep.
So I think that love and light is about recognizing your shadows and knowing where they're at and letting your
Mm-hmm.
light shine. But I think some people are so love and light that their light is so bright. it's like staring at the sun. You don't see anything. It
Right.
just
No,
burns. And it burns
absolutely.
anybody in the path.
And it's super toxic.
I know. Some of the people that are watching, they know what I'm talking about. This the love and light lady that was like all about love and light, and suddenly she just turned against me. I was like, what the hell did that come from? You know? And she starts saying all this crap, and I went live. I'm like, it's my turn to say something. And I was like, look, this woman already has a very difficult time. She has a child with, who has a disability. I work with adults with disabilities, so I know what it's like. I might not understand it completely because I don't have a child like that, but
Right.
I know what it's like to deal with someone like that. So I'm not going to
Yeah.
cause a war. I'm not going to cause a fight because they at least deserve some kind of peace. And for me to come and disrupt that, it's not my thing.
No. I would rather them
You
just
know?
destroy their own life and their actions be on their own head.
Yeah,
Like
and
their
but then
decisions.
I go I went on their page and they have all these trolls against them. Then they had this misfortune that a friend tried to cheat them, and they tried getting lawyers involved. I'm like, there's something really wrong with this person.
Right.
For all of a sudden, you have trolls like there's no tomorrow. You have so-called your best friend, cheating you out of a car. They sell you a house that's falling apart. I'm like, I couldn't done that. We don't even live in the same area of the
Well,
country.
here's the thing that you're saying is that like they're attracting shit that is rotten. So even though they might
Yeah.
have this facade of love and light, they're rotten inside. And I really think that's a lot of love and light people. They don't really understand their shadow side. I mean, shit, Greg, I was telling you today that I would be willing to castrate somebody with my bare fucking hands.
I
Like that,
yeah,
that's not like love and light. That's like I will fucking savagely rip off the skin and yeah, like I'm sorry, but and I told you on the what I would do it for, and I would have no regrets of it. Like none. So that's not love and light. That's allowing shit to play out and bringing balance to something that was fucked up.
yeah, no, and I think that's what love and light is all about, being balanced. But I don't think you should go and balance it out because when you try to balance something out, sometimes it goes a little too wrong. Unless you
Oh,
know what you're doing,
sure.
you know.
Like I said, I'm not. I would never go out looking for something to be like that for. I'm saying if
Oh
I
yeah.
encountered an that was so horrific, and it was like there's one thing, and that I told you, if a little child, an innocent young child of like anywhere from 5 and under, 10 and under, like just an innocent bystander is being, well, actually 10-year-olds are not very innocent anymore, but you know what, you know what I,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean.
If they're gonna be put through something like that, I was like, yeah, why don't they go through it too?
Yeah,
And I
like
feel like that sometimes is
that's
like what really goes through their mind.
yeah, but that's only if I encounter it. If I never encounter it, no, I'm not gonna ever do that to somebody
Right.
ever.
Yeah.
Ever. Heck, I'm not even one like I'll never be the one to throw the first punch in a fight. Like I'm not gonna. If you want to take it physically, then you better bring that fight. I'm not gonna bring a physical fight ever.
Yeah, yeah. No, and
You
you
know?
know what sparked up that conversation, and I think it's really, for some reason I think it was kind of creepy, but it's like I was trying to get a new phone, like I really do need another one, right? Because I'm when the new phone, I have to have it, right? So I'm trying to switch to the
Send
Pixel.
send me some of your old phones, Greg.
No, I traded them in. That's the thing. So I'm like trying
Oh,
to.
okay.
So the Pixel is completely sold out. So I keep going on the page. I'm like, maybe I should apply for a credit. It's Google Credit. That's the only place I don't have it with.
Right.
And obviously, if you sign up for those things that tell you, your credit is being checked, and I did that with my bank. So my bank told me, hey, your credit's being checked. You want to see how much points you lost on your credit score. So I click on it, and there's these other little options. You're like, oh, activity around your neighborhood. I was like, what? So I click on that, and it showed me a list of all the molesters in my neighborhood. And that's what
Yeah.
that's what had sparked our conversation. I was like, that's actually really creepy. It's like
Yeah.
they really are monitoring out there, and I kind of feel frightened for my friend because she has two daughters. One of them's
Yeah.
in Cunha, the other one's up in the high school. But still, it's like they're like there was probably like 4 people that live in the same block.
Right.
So
See?
I don't know, that kind of made me really scared. For some reason, I just feel scared. And I actually did send her a message. I was like, look at these people. These are people we actually know. And they're registered. And my bank told me. I was like, why would my bank is telling me?
You have to look up why they were registered as sex offender, because I know here in the state of Texas, like out here, like guys like to just
I think it said because they were with someone under the age of 14.
Oh, okay, never mind. Because
I think that's what the description said.
Well, out here you can be registered as sex offender for peeing on a tree. Like, wow. Oh gosh, they got drunk at a bar, they peed by their truck, and
they offended the tree.
And they offended their back.
No, all these people says they were with someone under the age of 14, and if you click on it, on some of them, you can actually see their picture.
Oh wow, okay.
And what kind of creeped me out is like, I saw a name that I'm like, I know this name. And then I clicked on it and I'm reading the description. I was like, oh, this is someone I hung out with in high school. I'm like, and I don't know. It really did put a little fear in me. I was like, well, it's not like they're going to do anything to me, but still it's like, I hung out with this person in high school, and I just could not get that out of my head. I was like, I hung out with this person in high school.
So for all the viewers wondering how I ended up on the topic of castrating somebody, it's because Greg brought up the fact that there were all these
that I was so creeped out that my bank told me there's molesters in your neighborhood. I was like, why is my bank telling me?
And I shared with Greg, I'm like, I wouldn't be scared. I would just castrate him if I get him in on that.
But I was so fixated for like an hour or two. I was like, I went to school with this person. We hung out. I shared my pizza with them because I got, because I got food for free from the cafeteria. And one time he didn't have any food. I was like, here, have my pizza, but you're not taking my apple. Because I always ate the apple. And I was like, here, have my pizza. And it's like, you sat shotgun in my, big old boat that I used to drive. The Oldsmobile. Oh, I was like, you sat shotgun. And I was like going through that whole thing in my head. I was so disturbed by it.
Great. I drove a boat too. I drove a Crown Vic.
Crown Victoria. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, with the 5.0 engine, and it was like a boat. Like when I take it over like the bumps, it would just like glide along. It was like bloop, 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 bloop.
Like, one year we should go out dressed as SpongeBob and Mrs. Puff driving our big boats out of boating school.
Okay, are you gonna be? Who are you gonna be?
I can be SpongeBob.
No, you can be Mrs. Puffs. I ain't gonna be Mrs. Puffs.
With a big old costume.
I'll be the squirrel.
I'll Sandy.
Be the squirrel, dude. Yeah, I'll be the Sandy.
So if any of you have any creepy stories to share, please click the link and join us. I know there's only like 4 viewers, but this was so last minute.
Are people hanging on to our every word right now?
I don't know, but there's been 4 people viewing like steady.
And they didn't get off. They were like, "Ooh, this is some entertaining shit."
This is an entertaining show. We were supposed to still go, but you know what? A lot of the stuff we talked about is creepy. I find it creepy, and some of it was disturbing.
Absolutely.
I still can't get over the fact that I hung out with a molester. Well, they weren't a molester when we were in high school. This happened a few years ago.
But Greg, like, yeah, high school. It's not like they were a molester back then. Or maybe they were. No. I don't know.
Oh, maybe it was in them. It was just dying to come out.
Maybe.
But it's so weird. It's like I can see them like standing right next to me with their little jacket, and it's like it's cold early in the morning, and it's like, why would you do that?
Right.
But then again, they might have been madly in love.
No, I don't.
She might have been 15 and he might have been 19.
Yeah, that's true. And 15-year-olds, man, they don't look like 15-year-olds anymore. I mean, shit, 12-year-olds, you're like, wow, you look kind of fabulous. I was thinking you were like 16, 17, because they like the 12. Everybody's developing really quickly in life because of all the added hormones that people put in our food.
That's definitely a different conversation we can definitely have. But you know
Ugh.
what? Talking about developing quick, I was walking to work and I work right across the street from the middle school. And there's this little boy, and he looks like really tiny, like he could be 4. And he takes
Aw.
out his phone and he looks at the other guy. It's like, as soon as I get my brand new iPhone, I will give you this one. And
What?
I like stared at this kid. I was like, you're in 6th grade. When I was in 6th grade, I always made sure I had a quarter for the payphone to call my sister to come pick me up.
Oh my gosh, dude.
That payphone that was by the
I had
library.
I had to use it even like freshman, sophomore year of high school. I didn't even get a cell phone until like the end of my junior year, senior year. Actually, it was probably my senior year.
I didn't get one until I was in college. My first brick, the Nokia.
Oh my
And
God, I
and
love
to
my
look
bro.
at these little kids, they're like so innocent that you can just squeeze their cheeks, and they're talking about getting the brand new iPhone and I can give you this one. I was like, right now when I think about phones, I'm thinking about I'm going to trade this one in and I hope I get $500 and you're giving your phone away.
Oh,
It's so
nice.
crazy
That's
now, and it's like
it's
that's all you
because
see.
it's the parents. It's the parents' money. The kids are
Yeah, and,
there.
and my niece, like I went to pick up my niece up at the high school, and
Mm-hmm.
I walked into the classrooms and every seat had a tablet.
Wow.
And and my niece was telling me the teacher will call on you and he or she will mirror your tablet into the big board. I was like, well, if
Wow.
you're watching something naughty, there it goes on the big screen.
Nah. You know, what is it? Steve Jobs and all these people who invented this stuff were like, ugh, they didn't want their kids to have any of that stuff.
Yeah, that's weird. You know,
I don't think it's weird. I think it's our brains get really lazy looking at a tablet.
here's the funny thing. When when I was with my boss, I gave him his last reading. I'm sure I have a feeling I got to do another one. And his nephew came through and he grabbed the iPad and he put it on the table and he sat next to me. And
Mm-hmm.
and and I told him, "Hey, there's something special coming that your nephew, because he passed away a few years ago, put the
Yeah.
iPad down, which is very unique because this is very precious to him." And I said, "This is
Mm-hmm.
something he will never let go." And he confirmed that.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, that iPad had always had to be charged. He will not let it go for
Yeah.
his dear life." I said,
Yeah.
"Whatever's happening, he put it down because it means it's something very important is coming." And as I'm talking like I'm getting it right now. I'm
Eh?
getting goosebumps all over my arms, my legs, like my whole body was covered in, goosebumps. I'm like, he's really here. And I was like, can you feel it? I mean, like he's really here. And him putting down the iPad, it's peculiar for him to do. So this whatever's happening is very special.
Uh-huh.
And you mentioning that Steve Jobs didn't want his kids to like even touch that stuff, it makes me think that the this generation that is dying sounds
Mm-hmm.
bad, but they go with that into the other side. They bring it like I used to play on the iPad all the time.
Right.
So at the same time, I think the spirit progresses with us.
Sure. Sure.
So I got one last story for tonight. If you have one and you want to go first.
No, you go. You go. You
All
go.
right, this is my last story for tonight. So I think I told this story before, but it's one of my favorite stories about how, and I think it's evidence that spirit also progresses with us.
Mm-hmm.
What ended up happening is that in one of the mediumship circles that I attend to, James, the organizer, he had a son that he was in the police force and he died from in duty. And he said he was at work, he was doing emails and everything. And if you're familiar with Google Hangouts, that you can text from your email.
Mm-hmm.
And he's, doing his work, he's in the computer, and then he gets him, and then in the corner of his screen, this corner, it's flashing. And he looks at it, and it's a message from his son. He's already been dead for a couple years.
Oh, wow.
And he clicks on it, and it says, hello.
Wow.
And it was sent that day.
Wow.
It was not an old message. It was nothing. So there, it's like, 2000 and something, and then it's like 2019. Like there's that gap where he's been dead, and then suddenly there's a new message there flashing for him to look. Mm-hmm. And he was saying that the whole entire day, his son kept on coming on his head. It's like it just kept popping randomly until he was in the computer and he just saw a message from his son that was delivered at that time that day.
Wow.
So to me, it shows that the spirit does progress and it does communicate with, they watch us, use our equipment. So I believe they become familiar with it. Because if you think about all these old spirits that have never seen electricity, how do they make the lights flicker?
But because they're energy.
Yeah, but how do they know that we rely on those lights? And they know we can use that as communications when their communication was candles.
Yeah, but still, it's still energy, and I feel like they comprehend that. But here's an interesting thought too, Greg, is that there was that rabbi that talked about his death and how he had seen all the way into the future of like 100 years and then back 100 years, and it was like he could live each moment with that person. What if that message was delivered to him on the day of his son's death, and he's now back with source, but that energy could go forward in time? Like time is not the same as like it is here. So like, what if that message was sent at the time of his death when he crossed over, but he's actually just with source recharging to come back down here or move on? Like the spirits that are here that you communicate with aren't technically here at this moment. Does that make sense? Like they came forward at the time of their death. I don't know, dude. This is just concept.
No. It does sound convoluted. I understand it.
Yeah.
If you ask me to explain it, I would not know how to explain it.
Yeah.
I don't know about like the spirits that are here. They're not here. I feel like they are here. Does that make sense? Like they make their presence known, but when they start talking about events and times and things like that, I have to let them at least show me something that I experienced maybe at that time, or show me a calendar that I can see in the corner of my eye with at least some kind of rough date, because it's like they lose their sense of time and space because none of that exists out there.
Right.
It's what do they call it? A fifth dimension. You move up and down, right and left, anywhere. And here we can only move one way because we're 3D. There's no more than that, And I think with them, it's like you kind of have to feel the sense that of time they're giving you.
Right.
And sometimes I do get confused where they're like, it's 3. I was like, 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months from now, 3 years from now, 3 decades, 3 centuries. Right. What is it?
Yeah.
And then I start getting like, I can feel it. I believe it's about 3 months because I feel the distance. Right. But there's no such thing as distance with time. We're very linear in this earth, in this plane. So that's why I tell you, oh, Christine, I feel like in about 3 months, and no, it happened in 3 weeks. I was like, well, the 3 was there. I don't know. It was the 3 something.
No, I think you said in 3 weeks, and then it was 3 months.
Exactly. So it's like,
yeah, you were right.
But that wasn't spirit. That was more like a psychic, like it was in your aura. It was in your energy, as in you will make contact with this person at about this time, and it's already in progress.
Yeah.
Things that are not in progress, things that you can change, I will tell you, but it's not going to happen. But if you really want it to happen, you have to take that destiny in your hands and make it happen. because
Right.
it's not destined to happen. But if you really want it, you have to make it happen.
Right.
I feel that there's a difference between that versus, yeah, you're gonna get sick in about 6 months. It's like, well, yeah, if you're running around without a shirt in the rain, you're gonna catch pneumonia. I don't know, something like that. It's like it's already predestined.
Right.
But other
Right.
things I don't think they are.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the majority of things are not predestined, and they're just predestined at the moment because that's the pattern you're going towards. And if you change the pattern,
you hit the nail on the head. Like the
you change it.
trajectory pattern is going to end you up here, but you could change it. You change your pattern, change the trajectory. But
Well, I could tell everybody, if you speed on 280 every day, what are the chances that you're going to get a ticket? They're very high.
Mm-hmm.
So if you continue to speed, then it becomes a self-fulfilled prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
But you can make that change. You just drive maybe a little slower.
Right.
And it's not your lucky day, then you get pulled over and you get a ticket for, I don't know, for being ugly.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, Greg, this was a good talk, good chat. We went all over the place tonight. We didn't keep it on the Fright night. Maybe if we had people coming and chiming in on their stories, we could have been a little more focused and not all over the place. But then again, we did keep it frightening.
We did. I feel a little creeped out of some of the things we said, and it was so last minute. I'm like, did you like the banner I did like 45 minutes before we go live?
I like the trees. I want to go for a walk through those trees.
Yeah. Oh, Purisima Creek out there in the mountains. It's kind of like that.
Let's do it.
As long as you don't get ticks on you. You remember that time I almost died? I was like, Christine, I found a tick. I'm going to die.
God, stop it.
Oh, I'm so dramatic.
You are, but it's great. I love it.
I'm dramatic in Spanish with subtitles. Yeah. I think for November, I want to bring like more stories, like the progression of the soul and the vaccine, because we were talking about that like a lot. And I can already hear Facebook flagging me for saying the word vaccine, but I have my thoughts on that, and you have your thoughts on that, and you have your evidence on that. So I think it will be interesting.
I need to find the documentation. I'm going to have to dig for this because I have not seen it.
But you know what? We're going to talk about this prior, and then like I can kind of do it almost PowerPoint sort of thing here, and then we can put bulletin points, and then we can put references for people to look at. And I did contact someone to see if they wanted to come in because they're really passionate about the vaccine.
Oh God, is it your boss?
No, not my boss. This is someone else we know from school, so I might get chewed on, but we all gonna do it respectfully. So
yeah, like I if they're too passionate, I might have to bow out because I don't want to like get all like I don't know.
Well, they're really against the vaccine. They even gone to protest and things like that, and I find that kind of interesting.
I'm against the vaccine too, but I just don't like. I'm also very much on the side that if somebody wants to get vaccinated, then they need to do that. Like, I'm not going to tell them not to, but I am very much against nobody having sovereignty over their own body. That's where, yeah. Blanket statements. I have.
See, it's because you're a little bit more open-minded about it, but then you still have your grounds to stand on.
Yeah.
So I think that's what changes the whole perspective, and I think this whole spiritual side of it, because I've seen people, like I tell you, my spirit guides told me it's okay for you to get the vaccine versus, oh no, my spirits tell me no one should get the vaccine. It's like, they're both spirits. Whose spirits are right? So
But see, again, anyway, we'll talk about it later.
yeah, definitely.
Anyway,
And I think I will kind of sort of somewhat advertise this one to so we can have more people. I want to hear people's opinions on it because people have been getting passionate about it. They're writing all these things about it. It's like, okay, voice it out. Be respectful to other people's, because not everybody's as sensitive as you are.
dude,
But
I'm not sensitive at all. Oh my god. Like,
yeah.
say
No,
whatever you want
but
to
you're
me, I don't care.
respectful though. You are respectful though, and that's what makes
Oh, thank
everything
you.
completely different.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we're madly in love. And I'm blushing.
What?
That's why we're madly in love, remember?
I know, madly in love. We're gonna like walk away from this being like, what the heck?
Right. But also another topic I do want to talk about is the spirituality and fasting. I find that so interesting.
Oh, I love that. I love those topics. Yes, those are good topics. I love that.
So I'm thinking of calling this more like an esoteric channel. I'm going toward, even though Arthur was like, you should call it the Virgin Chronicles. I was like, no.
I love it. The Virgin Chronicles.
I was like, why would you call it the Virgin Chronicles? It's like they never been touched. It's been touched by everyone. I haven't.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
I'm just telling it.
Oh,
Ooh, I like that word chronicles, the esoteric chronicles.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we
like
have
the
to make it
esoteric
controversial. So people, tell your friends, if you're watching me on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. I am planning to change the name of it. I might create a page for it on Facebook. Oh, I couldn't pronounce that very well. I guess I'm getting ready for the next show, which I'm probably going to do it tomorrow in Spanish. So we'll see how that goes.
Anymore. Did you mute yourself?
No. Can you people hear me? Oh no. Oh no. Oh, I can hear me.
We can't hear you at all. Oh my god, okay. Maybe they can hear you.
Maybe they can hear me. Write a comment if you can hear me. That's the only way I'll get people to... I don't think they can hear me. Did I turn this thing? No, it says it's working. Anyways, I am out of here, you guys. Thanks for watching. The 4 people that have been watching.
I turned on the subtitles and I can see it says you can hear me. Did I turn this thing? No, it says it's working. Anyways, I'm at it. Okay, bye.
Bye. So that was Christina, which I'm very excited to have on the show. We always have a long conversations. We talk for like 4 hours. Anyways, you guys, thanks for watching. Those of you that are watching, if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, turn the little bell for notifications when I come back live. It's usually going to be Friday nights. And she's calling me right now.